Hi. I'd like to first begin by saying that this style of presentation I got off Spotify. A certain rap star, I think, had interdispersed his own singing set to music with Queen's Radio Gaga. Teenage years, and all I heard was the radio. And just those two lines, and I thought that I'll try to do this with Gypsy Kings again on Spotify, the web player. All right. And I'll come back to stanza one, stanza two, and stanza three. And I'll go to stanza one. And this is uh, Veena, Veena, and showed it to you before in the distant past. And I will sing, maybe I will sing the song and go back to the dance. Roger Taylor's um, uh, style of composition, or one stanza. I'll try Roger Taylor's style. All right. This is an almost anaphora about the past and present me. She walks in beauty with her fertile womb and her belly swollen with child. She loves her growing child and feels its heartbeat. Going back to Veena. lot rusty. I'm a lot rusty. She walks with purpose, with her belly swollen with child, and the fortitude of chemical engineers before her. She loves her assigned work and feels her own matching heartbeat. She loves her assigned work, and loves her matching heartbeat. Uh, okay, coming back, this is the last stanza. And she walks with success, with her belly free of her child, and the new mother's love for her beautiful baby boy, suckling at her breast. She feels a different love for her husband, the father of her child, and feels their three hearts beat in unison, beat in unison. She walks in beauty with her fertile womb and her belly swollen with child. She loves her growing child and feels its heartbeat, feels its heartbeat. We'll let the song stay. All right, the Bambaleo, I should end it. You can listen to it on Spotify yourself. All right, years ago, before we even thought I was even going to graduate school or my first semester of my graduate school, we saw this Mexican movie, like Water for Chocolate. And I had no idea all these white women jokes because, well, my husband would have his fill of me. I have to go back. My husband would take kindly to this kind of joking, all right? But, and he would leave me kind of, well, um, high and dry, so to speak. So I used to make all the, but I slowly over the years, I read in a couple of articles that men may also lose their ability to achieve full orgasm. And so they get to 90, almost there. But in this movie, like Water for Chocolate, he reaches 100 and dies. Yeah, because it's very sad. You don't, nobody dies. I mean, people reach 100 in more ways than just sexual intercourse or sexual contact. In other ways, which also applies some. I mean, I've also done, the needful for my husband because, well, a man's magnificent form lets you get your, juices flowing in different ways. So that's what I did. But the 100 maybe a goal, and you could say like Viagra. Viagra came, and a man can get a man's response to needed response in certain cases. I mean, and I think childbirth has been achieved in many cases, and procreation had advanced because of Viagra. It's really a successful drug. But think about it. If a man could reach 100, he would be nicer to you. All these gangsters, I was thinking about directors, men, created men versus God created men, God's created men in my life. Okay, always, because I'm giving you this discussion. Justin Trudeau has my work. Professor Allen from the Department of Chemical Engineering and Applied Chemistry in the University of Toronto, the chair has my work. And then there's Simon Broholt, Director of Canada Council for the Arts, who has my work, all written endeavors, several of them done over the past 3.5 years. And I'm hoping for a reasonable paycheck. I mean, not a lot. And books in all cases, published books. So I try to keep outdoing myself, and in some many times I've succeeded also, done better than I had done before. So they are at this time heroes who have a villainish side to them. See, I'm this heroine who's working so hard, and you would think they would reward me, but these heroes have a villainish side to them. And my husband can also be a little, sharp. Because usually he's working, he's in his own world as I am, and we do things together. But he can be a little sharp, and a little. Sometimes he tells me, "Don't tell me at all," and I'm going away from the topic. But coming back to directors, I thought of 3 movies, unbelievably handsome characters. I even watched clips, and they're all bad, created beautifully by directors. One, Pulp Fiction. I mean, you have to see John Travolta and Samuel Jackson do their act there. The discussions they have in the movie, that's really good. I mean, even Tim Roth with his girlfriend, he's so understanding. Honey Bunny and everything. They're all bad guys. They want to hold the places. They want to kill people. Do you want these men in your lives? But Quentin Tarantino makes them beautifully. All bad guys. He just creates them from the depths of his being. He's actually a good man. So I hear from lip report. And he does not have a bad thought, a little bit maybe, but he creates all these heroes, villains. And then there's The Godfather by Francis Ford Coppola. Al Pacino, young, handsome, and the last scene, the preview. I should have shown you the preview with my mirror trick, but you can watch it on your own or watch the movie itself. And I'm talking about one. I've read the book too. The utter disregard for religion and its requirements in the end is just mind-boggling. I mean, he's swearing to God, and he's having all these bad guys killed. They're also bad guys, though. Bad guys versus bad guys, which is not bad. Okay, but he becomes the worst of them, right? I mean, he becomes the Godfather. But that's good. His good deeds. I mean, that musician, his father helps. Marlon Brando, the character by Marlon Brando, the Godfather, and then the third movie, I saw Cape Fear. The character played by Juliette Lewis, the daughter of Nick Nolte, and was it Jessica Lange? Yeah, the heroine was Jessica Lange, and she is even attracted by the bad guy in the movie, Robert De Niro. And she thinks she can, I don't know, maybe kiss him because she's really young. So at that age, I mean, they don't get past maybe a little kiss. And so she thinks, but the man's out and out bad guy. He's an evil man. So director created characters and oh, I'm sorry, Cape Fear was made by. And for you cinema buffs, this should be a question. You should look it up. Cape Fear was made by, I don't remember. I've seen the old one too. Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum. And I can't remember the hero and the daughter. I can't remember who played these parts. So But these people, the in real life characters are really good. I mean, Prime Minister Trudeau, you wouldn't want a better man to lead the country, to have the reins of the country in his hands. He could do a little more better, of course, but then who can? Me, but in some ways, maybe because he's pushed me so much, I feel maybe, with this under the circumstances, he's done very well, and but there's always room for improvement. And then that there was a blackening of his face, which happened a long time back, and then of course, he's not responsible for the unearthing of the indigenous children in residential schools graves, unmarked graves, but he apologized. But what else could I don't know? I'm not the prime minister, but I mean, he could be opening a whole Pandora's box. You see, because it would involve for me maybe a donation, and it would be harder maybe. And I guess for Professor Allen, chair of the Department of Chemeng in the University of Toronto, also. Because we handled in a lot of research. He's in administration, and he could face problems. People with not so good research could lay claim to being. And remember, I've done it over a number of years, so I've gotten better and better. Could lay claim to being very good, but they may be fresh graduates or graduates. 2 years old, so since the past 2 years, and they may have a case in the sense that they are, but they also need to update their resume or apply to companies, and that would get things in the right direction. So uh, that being said, and of course, the director of Canada Council for the Arts, he has to be strict. I have no liberal arts degree, and so, but he's been a little too strict. He's justified, but this strong man attitude, they don't really give me an inkling of what's passing on in their mind. That's kind of hard for me to but I'm sure I'm going to get there soon, get published and paid a small reasonable sum of money, which is a small sum of money for Canada Council for the Arts and Prime Minister Trudeau. But Chemage Department, a book would be nice. I haven't worked in years. A lot of research ideas would be nice. So coming back, 100. Okay, a man should get 100. And so if then he would become a good man. Maybe he wouldn't be so evil. There wouldn't be El Chapos. There wouldn't be Colombian drug cartel heads who could don't kid around though. I mean, they can be dangerous. They're all remember all those Mexican movies, Sicario and everything. They they don't say muchas gracias and things like that. They just shoot you and say muchas gracias and walk out. So you've got to be careful. So, anyways, I thought Siddharth Mukherjee's The Song of the Cell would help me out in this quest to give a clue to the drug, which is going to get 100 for a man without the a young man. He doesn't need a woman in his life, does he? A young man working, not a care in the world. Could do with some enjoyment. He of course he could do the needful, or I don't need to elaborate. So I have paper on my LinkedIn webpage, more like an essay paper, and it deals with the good aspects of the pink Viagra. I was being sexist, wasn't I? I wasn't considering men at all. So here, pink Viagra doesn't guarantee you an orgasm, and I've heard Botox. I read somewhere cuts the action of acetylcholine, and acetylcholine could ensure that you have a for women could ensure that you have a nice orgasm, and Botox gets you youth, but I beg your pardon, it does not give you get you where you want to be in some ways. But no, you don't want orgasms all the time. Once in a while, anyways. Get it going with your husband or boyfriend or by yourself. Well, then maybe you won't have distractions. You may be focused in your quest for The Holy Grail, is it by now? With your you should use anti-aging creams and begin at late 30s, early 40s, begin, and things should be okay. I do anti-aging. Anyways, here goes. Transduction of extracellular signals. And this is my textbook. I have two courses, two half courses in biochemistry. Three of the, and it says, I'll just read a little bit. It's on page 286, and the section is called Transduction of Extracellular Signals. And the plasma membranes of all cells contain specific receptors that allow the cell to respond to external chemical stimuli that cannot cross the membrane. In multicellular organisms, stimuli such as hormones, neurotransmitters, and growth factors, which are proteins that regulate cell proliferation, are produced by specialized cells and may travel to other tissues where they bind to and produce specific responses in cells that display the appropriate receptors on their surfaces. In this and then this section they deal with so with the necessary topics. So next paragraph it goes on. A general mechanism for signal transduction is shown in figure 10.37, and I will show you the figure 10.37, and and so after the ligand, also called the first messenger, binds to its specific receptor on the surface of the target cell. In this case, the target cell would be, of course, the male organ. All right. The signal is passed through a membrane protein transducer to a membrane-bound effector enzyme. The action of the effector enzyme generates an intracellular second messenger, which is usually a small molecule or an ion. So do you mean you need this enzyme or the second messenger, or a combination of both being activated with a delayed response? The effector enzyme acts first and gets the, of course, gets the parental nerve passing the message to the male organ. Get this going faster, buddy. It's taking little too long. It may just help, but maybe a little bit of artificial intelligence in there, and um, could give rise to holograms, and that could help. And because it helps me too. I have this whole dance routine, and sometimes I get caught up in the dance itself. So I need to wake myself up and say, let's get this party started or whatever. And so second messenger. And then there's more. There are G proteins, which are signal transducers. And G proteins may be good, and they would be the effector enzyme. And they may also, in combination with the effector enzyme and the intracellular second messenger, which could be a molecule or an ion, um, affect 100 response, complete sexual orgasm in a man. And that is what is the goal for the makers of Viagra, I guess, 100. And life's good. Yeah. You got to start. There was this whole Seinfeld episode. They're all going to have things it's better. Or for men, it works the other way. For women, you get all fuzzy brain. That's what they said. But for men, the longer they don't kind of get it to the level they want, then the better their brains function. Cobwebs in the brain, they don't have. All right, signing off, Gayatri B. Sitaram.